All right, so welcome to another episode of the From the Heart podcast. My name is Ed Hart, and tonight I'm just honored to have my new friend. He plays for the Vietnamese Professional Basketball League, who they're getting ready to head to Manila for the SEA Games, and he'll tell you a little bit more about that. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my new friend, Horac Nguyen. Horac, why don't you just take a minute or two and just tell us about yourself, just anything you'd like to share about yourself, your background, and I'll ask you some more questions later, but just get us started.
Sounds good. First and foremost, thank you, Ed, for letting me be part of your podcast. It's an honor to be on my podcast. Just a little bit about myself. Horac Nguyen, born and raised in West Covina, California. I've been playing professional basketball in Vietnam for the past 4 years. I played for the Da Nang Dragons in the VBA, the Saigon Heat in the ABL, and I currently play for the Vietnam national team. And we are currently preparing for the Southeast Asian Games, the 30th Southeast Asian Games, which will be hosted in Manila, Philippines next week actually. So I'm very excited about that.
Awesome. So I'll come back to that towards the end. I want to ask you a couple questions specifically about next week. But before we do, I'd like to kind of go back in your background a little bit. I know you're Vietnamese American, like you said, born and raised in West Covina. Tell us a little bit about how it came to be that you actually ended up playing professional basketball down here. Like, I'm assuming you played basketball growing up. Obviously, I've watched you play. You've obviously played the game your whole life. Just curious how one becomes a member of the Vietnamese national team and just your journey there.
Man, so it was kind of like a dream come true and just perfect timing, I would say. So in 2016, I was finishing up my senior season at Bristol University, and I was getting my college highlight tape ready, and then I got it finished, and I did send it out to, at the time, the Saigon Heat in the ABL. I sent it to the head coach. The head coach took a look at it. He was very interested, so he got back to me saying that coincidentally, that the Vietnam was going to open up the VBA for the first professional basketball league ever in Vietnam that June of 2016. So this was around March of 2016.
It was a perfect storm.
Yeah. So I heard about it, and that's when I was like, okay, I got to prepare for the tryout. So the next 2 months, I spent time with my trainer preparing in Orange County and back home in West Virginia. And I went to try out, and then from there they selected me one out of 4 Vietnamese heritage players from the first 2016 VBA tryout. And then from there, we pretty much, after that tryout, all of us had left. We left the country 3 weeks later after that, and then that's when I started my journey. And then luckily, it was kind of crazy because when they had selected me, they were going to put me on the Da Nang Dragons. Coincidentally, that's where both of my parents are from.
Oh, wow.
So it was...
so that had nothing to do with anything based on your background?
Yeah,
that was just where they put you?
Yeah, that's where they put me. So I was just really thankful and blessed for that whole situation. And I've been in Vietnam and played ever since.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about just the experience. What's it like to be on the first... one of the pioneers in professional basketball down here? What's the reception been like? We've been to a couple of your games now, and the fan base seems to be very rabid, very passionate about it.
It's actually a very special time for Vietnamese sports in general, but especially for basketball, because before we came in 2016, basketball was not that big in this country yet. But once the VBA started, and then all the heritage players came, and we played our games and did our thing in VBA, we realized that we're changing lives out here, because these people, even older citizens, and now the youth is picking up on basketball.
Right.
And so and it's cool because someone has to start it,
Yeah.
So how we all, when the heritage players and I all talk about it, we're like the Bob Cousy's and the George Mikeys.
You're the pioneers, the Jackie Robinsons, basically, yeah.
Yeah, so it's special because we actually have the first chance to put an imprint on something. So all of us are out here on the same mission, wanting to put Vietnam basketball on the map. But atmosphere and everything has been great, because, especially in the beginning, because I remember the first 2 seasons playing in Vietnam, the fans and people didn't really know the game much, so they would cheer on everything. They would cheer on dead balls, or they would cheer when other teams would make it, and it was a dead ball call. But as the years went by, the last
they're getting a little more
3
educated.
or 4, they know now, and then now they know how to taunt the other team, and it's cool. It's been a full ride. Yeah.
What would you say if you had to think about 1 or 2 experiences, either on or off the court, that you just thought, wow, this is just an amazingly special, once in a lifetime, I'm so glad I went to that tryout? Any of those moments, whether it was signing an autograph for a kid or something with the teammates, or just anything come to mind?
Definitely it had to be after the VBA 2016 season. We actually won a championship.
Awesome.
In that aim. So we're the fourth seed in the playoffs out of 6 teams, and then the top 4 make it, and then really like our team came together at the right time, and we swept everybody in the playoffs.
Nice.
Semifinals and the finals, and then we ended up winning the championship.
So you're the inaugural championship team for the league?
We are the inaugural.
Wow. You get a ring for that?
Yes, we did get a ring for that.
Very cool.
It's at home though.
That is awesome. That is fantastic.
And then that would probably be my most favorite moment. And second would probably be representing the national team. This is my second time representing the Vietnam national team, but especially the first time was special because I was like, I didn't ever think growing up that I would play for Vietnam, the national team, and then all these opportunities come by, so like they came so fast, and then I just took it and ran with it pretty much. Yeah.
What's the difference between playing for your Da Nang team and playing for your country?
Definitely playing for the country team, there's a lot more expectations and a higher standard because you're playing for the whole nation, because for Da Nang it's your club team and it's for the city, kind of, I would say, but especially with the Vietnam national, I wouldn't say there's added pressure, but you just know as a player, there's a lot more that you got to give. And there's
for your fan base, for one, because you got the whole country rooting for you.
Exactly.
Whereas, where you're playing in your club team, you've got your city, so like you're saying,
definitely, you just know that there's just more to it, so like your attention to detail, your focus, and you're just at an all-time high. And every play counts.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing about being on this particular team now with your coach and the guys? We've had a chance now to meet most of the guys on your team when we were in game the other night. For those that are watching, the Vietnam team just knocked off Singapore in a friendly match the other night. First time I hear that you've beaten Singapore in the country's brief history of playing in this league.
Yeah.
What's that like? And just tell me some experiences about playing with these guys that are currently on your team.
I mean, this team is like, our coach did a really good job making up the team because we all really get along on the court. It shows the way we play, like our chemistry. Like, we're clicking.
You guys look like you really have good chemistry from the stands.
Off the court, it's great because we all hang out together too. It's actually one of the few times in my pro career where I've been able to hang out with my teammates as a whole, where there weren't separate cliques or anything. Like everybody just meshes together, and it's special because I feel like what I've noticed, like in pro sports, like if you guys can get along off the court and be buddies and talk to each other, have heart-to-heart conversations, and whatever you say on the court, all right, I got it. I'm gonna listen to you. If I mess up on something, I can be like, hey, Chris, make this mistake. I'm going, all right, we're gonna do it.
Off the court chemistry, certainly carries over onto the court.
I've realized that.
I've noticed that in sports, whether playing baseball or just watching other professional sports teams, you can tell.
And so definitely this team has a special on and off the court chemistry.
Awesome. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how you, Vietnamese American. How tall are you?
5'10".
Okay, so 5'10". So you're probably, unless you're like Spud Webb or one of these, few guys that are 5'8" that made it. You've got some hops. I've seen you jump. You can get up there, that's for sure. I'm really impressed with the league in particular that I've seen so far, and your quickness and your just your first step. When did it occur to you, even maybe before that tryout, that basketball was something that you wanted to do, or even just, I'm assuming that you played high school basketball and then played on in college at Bristol, obviously?
Yeah, it was. I think it was. I mean, growing up, I've always been the only Asian kid on my team, playing like travel ball and AAU, especially in West Covina. And like, it was funny because the Asian perception for basketball back home in the States is, they're when you're Asian, you're a great student or you're not an athlete.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've always had I wasn't battling it, but I've always been faced, like I've always been overlooked. Yeah. So I've always used that as my own motivation to, I can hang with the best of the best in high school. At the time, I knew I was playing against the best players in my high school in the area, and I would hang with them. And so pretty much, and that kind of fueled me. So that's the reason why I wanted to pursue basketball, because I knew, hey, if I'm playing against these guys and they're like the 4-star, 5-star recruits, man, I can play. I know I can play. So, and that's why I pursued my basketball career after high school, because I was not going to until I was like, nah, I'm young, I love basketball, I'm gonna put in the work. So, and that what led me to playing Cypress College.
Okay.
So I played 1 year at Cypress College. I walked on there. Pretty much the coach did not know me. I went to a tryout 2 there, and then I listened, I fit the team, and I made the team there. I ended up being the 6th man at Cypress College.
Awesome.
My first season there, and then I was good enough to get me a half scholarship to go play at Bristol University, which was NAIA Division I, coached by Coach Gerard Roberts, a really high-level coach that played in Europe for about 15 years. So I spent my last 3 seasons of my college career at Bristol University, and I got to play a lot of. We did play a lot against a lot of Division I and Division II schools in our preseason schedule. So it wasn't. Well, luckily I got like the taste of everything when I was at Bristol. So and that prepared me for the ride, especially for now. Playing all the schools.
So you wear number 0, and I know there's a reason for that. Can you tell us why?
It was when I got to Bristol. I had realized that since the day I started playing basketball until the day I got my half scholarship, everything was on me. You know, it was what I wanted to do. Even though my parents had other thoughts and wanted me to go another route, but I was like, no, because my mom and dad, this is what I want to do. And they're like, okay, if this is what you want to do, then it's on you. You know, if you fail or you succeed, it's on you. So that's when I realized that I put in all the work myself, and that nothing was given to me, and nothing is given. You know, because especially being a 5'10", at the time I was like 5'8", Asian kid in United States, always being overlooked by college coaches, and just never passed the eye test pretty much.
Sure.
So nothing was given to me. So that's the reason why I go by that quote. Yeah.
Excellent. I love that.
But I go by that quote on the court, but then off the court too, because same thing off the court.
Absolutely.
Whatever you want to do in life, you got to put in the work.
You got to get it.
The hours. You got to get it yourself.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about you off the court. So I know we talked about your basketball career, and we'll come back to it because I want to wrap in a little bit about what's coming up next week in Manila. Mm-hmm. So that'll be right back into the on the court things. Yeah. But tell me about yourself. Recently married.
Yes.
And turns out I found out tonight that you and I live in the same hometown, probably a mile from each other.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited when we get back to Eastvale that we can get together again, maybe work out of the gym, and you'll be on the basketball court. I'll be in the pool, but still it'll be all right. But yeah, just. What would you like anybody that's watching this and listening to this to know about you? Not the basketball player.
I recently got married to my high school sweetheart, Jenny Carol Goong. It's the love of my life. Actually, it's the only girlfriend I've ever had.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's she's actually been one of the reasons why I'm here, because she's always been my biggest supporter, and she's always been by my side whatever I wanted to do. And she actually keeps me sane. I know it's cliche to say, but
that's why, because it works. It's true.
And I thank her for everything that she's done for me and how much she's had to sacrifice for, allowing me to go play for these past 4 years. And I know it hasn't been easy on her, so I thank her. But about myself off the court, I enjoy reading.
Do you?
I definitely enjoy reading.
What do you like to read?
I've been reading a lot of mindfulness and self-help books in the past year.
Yeah.
But prior to that, I was reading a lot of basketball coaching books. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've read all the basketball books that are out there.
So is that a vision of yours that you'd like to get into coaching when your playing career is over?
Yes, I definitely want to coach and train kids and be around the game still, because I just know that I'm a basketball lifer. I still got to be around it.
Yeah. Well, and the best coaches I've seen in any sport are the ones that really were the ones, like you said, nothing was given. Mm-hmm. You've had to work for it. Yeah. You might not have been the star growing up, but you've made it. Here you are playing professional basketball now.
And to add to what you just said, too, it's funny, and that's the reason why I want to be a coach, because I've been for an athlete, I've been at the lowest point, and I've been at the highest point. Yeah. I've been a full-time starter, and I've been the 12th man on the bench. So I know how to
coach a kid, because
I know how to coach a kid, exactly. So, and I feel like I want to spread that knowledge back to kids and stuff like that. I know a lot of coaches these days, maybe some coaches don't go to that, and then you get a coach that does go to that. I feel like we should give back to these kids and teach them the whole full 9 on that. Yeah.
How does basketball and life, if there's an analogy or something or a comparison between life and basketball for you, what has your preparation in basketball taught you about going forward?
With the game of basketball, through all the years I've been playing, it's definitely taught me self-discipline and commitment and hard work, and having a work ethic, of course. Because when you're on a team, especially playing for any level, there's commitment. You got to be on practice on time. You got to listen to your coach. You got to be coachable. You got to be accountable. You got to be respectable. There's a lot into play to where you can, put into your life when you're outside too. When it's in school, work, or anything. Everything correlates with each other. Yeah.
So a couple more questions. I'm going to tease the last question so you can be thinking about it while I ask you the one before. The name of the podcast is called From the Heart.
Okay.
2 reasons. Number 1, my last name is Hart, but that's really not the reason. the whole objective for why I launched this podcast is to get really into the heart of people, why they do what they do. So don't answer that yet, but you know it's coming. I'd like to give you a little bit of a teaser there. But before we go into that final talk here in the last couple of minutes, tell us about the SEA Games. SEA stands for Southeast Asia. What are your expectations on the court as far as playing time, and what do you hope to get out of it? What's the Vietnamese realistic team expectation? I know you're going up against some tough competition, but you just knocked off Hong Kong and Singapore in back-to-back days, just in some friendlies. So I'm sure that gives you some confidence going into next week in Manila.
Those wins definitely helped us out.
So what do you say? What do you think Coach Kevin would say is the expectation, and your expectation overall?
Now, I would say for Coach's expectation, for sure he wants us to get a medal this time. I mean, I feel like we're definitely in great medal contention, especially with the talent and the chemistry we have this year with our team. And also, I think we're one of the team that have been preparing the longest for the SEA Games. We've been at it for almost 2 months now, training camp and all of our scrimmage games in other countries and stuff like that. So I feel we were prepared. Now it's just time for us to go out there and do our thing. On both sides of the ball.
What's your mentality on the court? What are you trying to accomplish each time you're out there on the court? Besides obviously winning, but I mean, do you have a personal goal when you go in, whether it's statistics or just anything in mind?
I always try to be the voice on the court for the team, like the leader, because I know, especially in games, it can get tight and it can get rough. So I always try to be that voice for it and calm everybody down.
That's that
I always like
coaching.
to be the neutralizer. Yeah,
that's where coaching is going to be a perfect fit.
It's the point guard in me, where like I always want to make sure everybody else is okay before I'm okay. You know, and that's always one of my mentalities, because I know for myself, I don't have to worry about myself, because I'll be ready for the game mentally. I'll be locked in. You know, sometimes you have teammates here and there that might be going through a bad game, or some foul calls not going their way, and you got to stay on them and keep their spirits up like that. So that's what I like to do.
All right. So you know the last question coming.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say it basically just this way. What's in your heart right now?
I mean, Vietnam basketball in my life.
Of course.
I mean, honestly, the game has brought me so much. You know, it's made me travel to 10 different countries around Asia, places I never thought I'd been. But I've always played for the love of the game. You know, obviously now I'm getting paid for it, but it's always been for the love of the game. No matter if I was getting paid millions of dollars or hundreds of dollars, my love for the game will never change. So that's the reason why I play basketball, because it brings the best out of me, honestly, how I felt my whole life. So, and it's always kept me in the right direction growing up. So I think the game more than, I think the game for my life.
So there's a 9-year-old little Vietnamese kid out there right now who looks up to you and wants to be a professional basketball player. Talk to him right now. Tell him what you want to tell him, and we'll wrap with that.
Man, honestly, always believe in yourself and never give up. And you're just as good as the other player, because just know that you have to guard them and they have to guard you. But one thing is key is always believe in yourself, no matter who you play, because you got to shoot. You put the ball in the hoop and you defend the person you're guarding. It's all on you.
Fantastic. Well, Horace, you know that you've got a number 1 fan now, maybe number 2 behind Tam Nguyen. I don't know though. I was cheering for you guys. 2 nights ago when you guys were really close towards the end, I turned to Tam and I said, I've never cared so much for something I care so little about. And I didn't mean that in a bad way, but prior to Sunday night, the thought of Team Vietnam wasn't even on my radar. And I became an instant passionate fan for you, for your teammates, the guys out there. They showed so much heart. They came up and gave us hugs and high fives, and when we got there last night, we got the fist pump from most of the guys, and the coach came over and shook my hand right away. So I certainly have you guys in my heart now as well. I'll be rooting for you. I'll be watching next week, and I look forward to seeing you back home in California when it's all said and done. And I'm really pleased and proud to be building this friendship, and I just really, like I said, I'll be pulling for you, and beyond next week, I'm pulling for you as a human being. You're just a good young man, and it's an honor for me to get to know you, and I just can't wait to see you succeed.
No, I really appreciate it. Brought up my heart too, because we just met, but I feel like we clicked in so many ways.
Absolutely.
You know, and coincidentally we live a mile.
I know, how just
crazy.
Awesome is that?
It's great, but
so
the first
cool.
time we meet each other, we're in Vietnam. It's just life.
It
really is crazy though. When you
call it God, call it universe, whatever you want. I personally call it God, but call it whatever you want. And when he wants something to happen, he makes it happen. So
for sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, brother, and best of luck to you, and we'll be staying in touch.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for your time.
From the Heart podcast, baby.
There you go. Yeah, wrap it up and just say, who you are and that you're watching From the Heart podcast.
I'm Horac, and you're watching From the Heart podcast, baby.
Excellent. Thank you so much.